Um, I actually didn't mind the Joker scene. I thought it was actually pretty cool. It just seems weirdly out of context though. It's just like they like wanted a scene with Jared
I
Leto's
didn't.
Joker with Batman, but they didn't know where to put it or like so it just kind of felt really random.
They put a lot
But
of
I mean,
like
other than that,
time
it
on it
was
'cause they're
fine.
like, look at he's back, he's here, come on.
I mean, it
I-
just felt kind of
Yeah, like I'm
pointless
just like,
because,
but
like, I mean, that scene is supposed to be like a continuation of his fucking future nightmare from Batman v Superman, where Superman joins Darkseid and takes over the world or whatever. But it's like they averted that, or maybe they're implying here that it's still a possibility. I don't know. It just seems like kind of pointless, honestly.
It's really weird how they filmed that scene. Also, it was just like really close up on Batman and Joker's face
Yeah.
while it's really blurry.
yeah,
It was almost
that's
like they were
weird.
trying to hide who the Joker was when everyone knows who it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like
Do a bad
artsy
job.
and-
They didn't do terrible. It's just weird. I just think it's a weird out of context type of thing. Like maybe in a Batman movie, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like it's in a Justice League film at the
It's
end,
weird because
future.
the Batman even met Joker in these like.
I mean, it's implied they have a history because they did the whole thing where Joker killed Robin in the past, but they've never met like on screen.
Right.
But they do know
They met
each
in
other.
they met in Suicide Squad.
Not on screen. Oh well, I guess
Yeah, on
there
screen.
was,
Remember,
yeah,
he
there was
jumps on top
yeah,
of the
yeah,
car,
no,
and
yeah,
then
you're right. But they didn't have like any dialogue or anything. It was just like a chase scene where Joker escaped.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They didn't have like any dialogue. Yeah.
All our not like direct dialogue. They say something to each other, and then Batman rescues Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things where it's like people generally don't like Jared Leto as Joker, and I guess Zack Snyder really likes him. And it's like if they want to try and make him like do him right, fine. I'm all down for it. I'm never gonna say like, oh, I will never accept Jared Leto as my Joker. It's like if they want to try and like, I just don't think it was done well here. Like I still don't really like him that much. Especially when it's in this kind of like out of context, like really droning on.
Okay, that's
scene.
fair. I mean, compared this Joker to Suicide Squad, I think I prefer this. Like, I think it was more.
I mean, he was barely
tolerable than
Suicide Squad.
It's just gonna hurt really, really bad. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't like that scene at all. Here, I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, but talking more generally, do either of you want to give your thoughts? Because I can give my thoughts, but I mean, if you guys want to go first, that's fine.
I am glad they gave more backstory to Cyborg.
Yeah,
that was cool. I think it's weird because I'm like, I've seen Aquaman, but had I not seen Aquaman, I would have been a little upset because I think I would have wanted more from Aquaman in this movie.
Yeah, I'm movie because I haven't seen Aquaman. I was just kind of like, man, he's got like no fucking like scenes outside. Like he had 3
The
things.
scene where he goes down to the girl.
I mean, yeah, he fights Steppenwolf underwater, and then he has a little scene at the beginning with Bruce Wayne. He shows up like at the fight in Metropolis, and then he just kind of hangs out until the end, where he has some cool stuff. But it's like, yeah, he's definitely the most minimal character in this version. Yeah, I mean, going back to the Cyborg thing, it's just so insane. Like, I understand how angry Ray Fisher must have been just having all that fucking story that he was given cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because it's kind of like a main plot of the story. Like, you kind of need that, I feel like.
Like, I heard everyone talking about how, you know, like, everyone else understands because he is essentially, like, the emotional through line of the story.
He's the character that's the most amount that we learn about and see.
Yeah, it's just crazy how like, I really want you guys to watch the original just so you can see how little Cyborg has in that movie.
Well, maybe the original's better because it says "booyah" on it, so you know.
The original, I don't know. Like,
That triumphs everything.
Max, all right, Max, what do you think, just in general?
It was, it was okay. It was. I don't know if making it 4 hours was a good idea. Like, yeah, they added a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I felt like I was corpsing a little bit as we were going through.
Yeah. I was talking to my brother earlier today after we had stopped after the first hour, and I was telling him, like, I feel like this movie needs a happy medium where the original version we got was the result of too much studio tampering, and this version is the result of too much, like, director control. I think we need a happy medium where Zack Snyder can't go all 4-hour, really long plotting scene, and the studio can't go
a bunch of slow motion.
Work. The slow motion got better as the movie went on. It was really
it
was really bad. Like the whole, as I was telling Chris, like the whole Amazon sequence, that was like 8 minutes of slow motion just straight, like the whole fight.
That was crazy. I'm glad.
There's a bunch of scenes they could have cut out, like out for an Amazon scene. There's a scene where she grabs the box. She turns around, then she runs up the wall to stab a guy, and I'm like,
yeah, that was weird.
What? Like,
you're supposed to be running with the box. Go.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was happening there, and then she just stabbed the guy. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely think this is a case where I really like that Zack got to make his vision. I still think this, like, there need to be a little bit control about how much went in, and what,
like,
you know.
This is the big example of why it is good for the director to cut down the film.
Yeah, I mean, they butchered this movie, like, absolutely. This movie is just so much better than the original. I'm with Max in saying that, you know, I thought it was okay. It was, you know, decent. There was some cool stuff in there, but, like, just looking back at the original release, I feel for Zack Snyder, especially with all the, like, trauma and grief he was going through at the time, and that he essentially, like, stepped down from his movie. They took it and just, like, completely just butchered it and released it to the public. I just feel like that makes me so much more sympathetic with this movie.
God.
talk about Flash.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was about to lead into that.
Flash still sucks. I was hoping he'd be better in this movie, but I still don't like him.
He's so awful. I don't like his acting.
I don't either.
I don't like the way
I think he could be good. I just think he's like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't even know. I honestly
I need more. I don't like the way he's written. I don't like the whole jokester, like. I don't know. I don't really like it.
The Flash is like that, but it's just he's annoying here. He's not funny.
And a problem is he has no one to play off of either. Everyone's just so serious around him.
Yeah, it's like he's just telling jokes and then, like, nothing happens. It just has to move on. It's really awkward.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, because I'm like
in the Avengers,
I'm
everyone's
no
having fun.
Cyborg. Huh? What?
I was gonna say, like, in the Avengers, like, the actors equipping, and you tell everyone it's just kind of like a light atmosphere. Everyone's kind of having fun with it. Whereas in here, it's just so, like, end of the world serious. But you just have this idiot cracking jokes every 3 seconds,
and none of them land. Like, the funniest sequence he had was he picked up the hot dog when he went to go save the girl.
That was weird.
Yeah, but that was like weird. Yeah, that was weird funny.
It was like.
Like, I actually liked it when he had, like, the serious moments with his dad, but it's like you get 2 scenes in the entire movie. And I get it's like 4 hours. I didn't want more, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't like him as the Flash, and I'm just so disappointed because the Flash is, like, again, he's like my second favorite superhero ever. So it's like,
I like him rewinding time.
Yeah, that was so cool, dude. I love how he, like, they feeded that with, like, the mother box stuff when they were reviving Superman. I don't know why they could, even if they weren't going to do him rewinding time in the climax, they could have just kept it in the mother box scene. That was so cool.
So does the, okay, wait, so because you don't see Darkseid in the original, how does the original end?
They just fight Steppenwolf and then they beat him and then it's over.
So I
Really
take it
weird.
must ends right after Superman cuts off his horn or whatever.
He doesn't even do that, and he just shows up, beats him up, and then they like. I don't even remember if they kill him. I might just send him back to the portal and then close it, and then it's over. I don't honestly remember.
I thought this though. I'm not gonna lie. I like the way this ended. Like really cool. Like it was just really cool. Everything about it was like really cool.
Yeah,
like
it was a good
them
climax.
throwing stuff off, cutting his head off, sending him through dark side. Like yo, you know what? Fuck this. Like that. I like that. That's cool.
I really
that's
like
on some like end of the world shit.
I honestly think the climax was shorter in this one, but it felt like I think it felt pretty tight, and I liked all the characters got to do stuff. I thought it was good. I liked the climax. I don't think it needed to take like 3.5 hours to get to, or 3 hours, I guess.
I agree.
The slowest end of the world.
They barely did anything with Lois Lane, which like I don't like Lois Lane in this series anyway, so it's like I don't really care, but it just felt so half-assed when they tried to.
Yeah, but Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I agree with the studio that Martian Manhunter should have been in this movie.
Yeah, that was so weird, because that scene where Martha goes to talk to Lois Lane is in the original, and it's just Martha, because they didn't keep the Martian Manhunter shit in. And it works fine. I don't know why that had to be Martian Manhunter. I don't know why he cared about Lois. I don't know why he wanted Lois Lane to move on from Superman. I have no idea. They don't explain that.
He wants to slip in.
It's just for fan value. Like,
yeah, but all the Green Lanterns die too.
Yeah, I mean the Green Lantern stuff is just like, I mean he shows up like once in the original in that like flashback to the battle. He just shows up in like a couple shots and that's it.
I don't understand why you want to do all the Green Lanterns are dead, because that just leaves you no room to ever have them pop up. Then
I mean I don't know. Are they all?
Well, the ring took off, so technically the ring.
Yeah, the ring probably just went back to the Lantern Corps, and they're gonna find another person to be the Green Lantern.
Okay, because Steppenwolf was like, we wiped out all lanterns. So I was like, what?
Who's the other one? Jon Stewart and not Guy Gardner. Who's the fucking one that Ryan Reynolds played? Hal Jordan. That's it. Yeah.
Peep the Light Show.
Yeah. So yeah, Martian Manhunter was terrible. Cyborg was just so much better. Aquaman, like, honestly, was like less, but it just doesn't really do much in either. Wonder Woman wasn't. I don't know. She was fine, I guess, but
she didn't use her super speed in that final battle.
Batman was cool. I mean, I liked Batman stuff in the end where he's like fucking fighting all the guys in the Batmobile. That was fine, I guess.
I don't understand why they kept playing that fucking audio track of Wonder Woman. She's the only thing that had that specific track to her. And every time it was intrusive.
Weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they would put the scene in slow motion of her each time and then play it. It's like
I don't know.
It honestly just feels like a cyborg movie.
But the world blew up. That was cool.
Yeah,
I was like, is that Earth?
Yeah, Darkseid literally just stepped through that portal and just destroyed the Earth with the mother boxes.
So fucking cool. And then like when he's like running past everyone and their skin and like the bones start to come back, like that is so cool. I was like, yo, that's dope. See, Apocalypse could never. That was what Apocalypse was supposed to do.
Darkseid was cool, except for the fucking battle scene.
Yeah.
That was weird. That's why I'm like, what? He just got fucking.
He just seems like
his ass handed to him.
He's just like an ogre kind of monster character. You wouldn't think that was actually Darkseid.
He reminded me of the big guy from the Black Order in the Avengers. That's what he was like.
But I heard people talking because I just kind of like passively consume spoilers for this because I didn't really care that much about spoilers for this movie. There was some stuff that surprised me which I liked, but one of the things I heard some people talking about was like Zeus fighting Darkseid, and people, I heard some people were pretty like excited about that, and we got to that scene and I'm like, oh, that didn't really amount to much.
Really,
he just zapped him.
Yeah.
So Superman was cool. Yeah, so
and it's probably a problem with the original also. It's just that they don't really feel like a close team. They don't really like have good dialogue with each other. Or
I mean, one of the big problems with that is that the characters just aren't like they have to try and establish these characters on the spot because they haven't had their own movies.
Do anything, no build up. Yeah, it's weird because literally the first Avengers is about them not being a team, but it still feels natural. Like them talking to each other feels natural. Like
they don't have like moments like anytime they're talking, it's just they're just going, yeah, we gotta do this thing for the mother box, and then
it's all about the plot.
At most, Barry will add a bad joke, and then we'll him.
Like if you remember in Avengers, all the scenes on the helicarrier were like, I still think, even looking back now, I'm like, it is kind of slow, but they're still having dialogue that's just not immediately directly related to the plot. It's just them kind of like shooting the shit with each other. Those are the scenes you need. And yeah, it's like Max said, every time you see the team talking here, it's always just hyper-focused on the plot and what's going on. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why they would make this movie before establishing Cyborg, Flash, or Aquaman.
Yeah, like especially a Flash and Aquaman movie. Was it
just like the rush because of how popular Avengers ended up being?
I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me really, because I was thinking about this while we were watching the movie. I was thinking like, even if people really like this version, think about how like much trouble it took to get even to this point, where Man of Steel came out in 2012, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Let me just double check that. 2013. Man of Steel came out in 2013. And the original Justice League came out in 2017, and this version came out in 2021. So that's 4 years between this version, between the original and the quote-unquote, like, definitive version, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, I don't know, it's just like, I hate comparing it to Marvel, because you really, it's unfair to do that. But, like, if you just think of it, Marvel they did the four main heroes had their own standalone films. Iron Man had 2 standalones, and then they did Avengers, and it was 4 years from Iron Man 1 to Avengers. And it was just so efficient, and it worked. And here it's just like, they took 4 years to get from Man of Steel to Justice League. They did a Man of Steel standalone. Then they did Batman v Superman with Wonder Woman, with Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman cameos, with Doomsday, Death of Superman.
Lex
Luthor, fucking... And then they did Suicide Squad, which has nothing to do with anything. And then they gave Wonder Woman like a prequel backstory movie that has nothing to do with Batman v Superman or Justice League. And then they did Justice League. It's so crazy.
And then, hold on. And then they release Aquaman and Wonder Woman 1984 that has nothing to do with Justice League.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Aquaman is technically afterwards, but it's like...
Yeah. It's like, and they're planning all these things. Like, they're already planning, like, Justice League Part 2. And they're doing, like, Flashpoint is in the works. And they haven't earned Flashpoint. Fuck you. Like... And they're doing, like, they're just planning all these crazy-ass movies, and I'm just like, I don't even know if James Gunn's Suicide Squad is going to be part of this universe. Why are you doing Flashpoint?
James Gunn, Suicide Squad.
So
now we just gotta start putting director's name in the beginning of DC movies.
It's just
Michael Bay's Batman.
It's just a broken down, barely functional mess of a series.
It's funny because you said like comparing it to Marvel, like you shouldn't do that. But I'm thinking like, why not? It's a superhero movie, and like
they want us to compare it to Marvel. That's the thing. It's like the reason they're doing like they do all these crossover movies with all these heroes. They're directly saying this is our answer to what Marvel's doing. So
we want that piece of that pie.
Oh and I wouldn't. I wouldn't hate it if they just built up the characters prior to getting to a crossover movie.
I think this is I think it's like I don't think Zack Snyder, like I don't like the way Zack Snyder writes these characters that much, but I think like the blame for the series as a whole doesn't fall on him. It's pretty much all Warner Bros. I feel, in that they just are rushing these productions. They want to get like ahead. They want to try and capitalize on this market of the superhero genre while it lasts. Mm-hmm. But it's just so fucking. It sucks because people. I don't know. Like I don't like to sound over dramatic, but like people really care about these characters. And so when you get these just really soulless productions, it just feels so bad because it feels like you don't get how this works, you know? And that's I feel yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, I feel like with how that superhero movie's been running, I feel like you would get it by now, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that point is exemplified perfectly by Batman v Superman, where it's just like they try to shove so much in, and the thing that I think just really breaks it is that they try to do Death of Superman in that movie, where that was the second movie in the entire series. And they killed Superman off. And then at the very end of the movie, they, like, do the thing where, like, they hint that he might come back. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like, these characters deserve better. It makes me so upset, you know? Because, I like DC characters a lot. Like, I'm pretty sure all three of my... Like, most of my favorite superheroes are DC characters. And it's just, they do them so dirty, man.
It's like, speaking of which, does the start of this movie start like how the OG starts? Like, does Superman actually awaken the boxes by screaming? Is that
no, that's different. The original starts with it's like Batman stopping like a criminal on the rooftops, and then he like fights a parademon, and then he's like, "Our world's being invaded," and then he's like, "I gotta get a team together." And then it goes into him, like, trying to get the team together. And, like, Wonder Woman stopping the bank stuff.
I thought the whole Superman screaming thing was kind of cool. But
it's alright.
But I don't know. I really don't like Superman is just unfucking killable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just how Zack Snyder likes Superman. He likes him as just this godly character. You know, I know people do like that. There are people who really like that, and that's fine. I know Max and I probably agree that that's just like not interesting, because Max and I have watched a lot of DC animated stuff now, and DC animated stuff is so good. Like, it's a lot better than it deserves to be, honestly. The shit they do with characters, like the main characters, is just so... Like, Max loves to talk about the scene with Clark Kent on Christmas with his parents. But, I mean, that scene is just, it's really endearing, and there's just so many scenes like that where you just get really great looks into Clark Kent as a person. Whereas here, it doesn't seem like he's a person. He's just like a god amongst men. And it's like... I don't know. That's just
and maybe that's why, because I absolutely despise Superman content, and maybe that's because of like the movies and like every form of media I see. But maybe it's because I don't really watch the animated series like that. So maybe I should watch those.
Superman the animated series is great.
Like
Superman the animated series, he's great in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He's great in Young Justice when he shows up. You know. Like,
yeah, that's
scene
true.
Where he had that scene where he was Clark Kent and he was with Bruce Wayne getting pie, and they had an argument, so he just got his pie to go. It's just little stuff like that. It's just great. He's like, I don't know. It's just, and I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm biased against it because I just think Zack Snyder doesn't have the same taste as I do when it comes to these characters. But I know, like, there are so many people who love these movies because they like their superheroes like that, and that's fine.
Zack Snyder would be like, Jason Todd was saying the right shit.
Oh my god, dude. it's just so crazy because like this Batman that is in this series, he starts like, Robin's already dead. All his like superhero, like he seems like he's in it. It's basically like Dark Knight Returns Batman, where he's just like past his prime and he's just kind of, I don't know. It's just weird that this started like that. Like Tony Stark started as Tony Stark, and we saw him like build his suit and become Iron Man. Whereas in this, it's like Batman's already a thing. When Wonder Woman showed up, she was already like a thing. Aquaman's already a thing. Flash is kind of a thing. It's like, I'm fine watching origin stories. They're not that overrated.
It's interesting how they.
I'm okay with not having a story, but it's just like, give me a reason to still care. Like, I don't want you to completely just throw it all away.
Someone's talking about like how the animated show did Superman, just like in terms of like his power scaling, which was like in the first season, they like nerfed him down, so to be like everyone else's level more. But in like the later season, it was they actually upped everyone else's power scale up and made them more competent in other things to balance it out more.
Right. I mean, like good Superman power scaling. If you watch Smallville was great because it was just all.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, it was just all Clark Kent growing up and like slowly earning his powers, season after season. And it did it right, where he's just a guy growing up in Kansas who just happens to have superpowers and he uses them to help people because he's a good person.
Also, Superman's weak to magic.
Yeah, he is. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Does Steppenwolf use magic? Steppenwolf put an axe in this man's shoulder and it did nothing, and I was like, all right.
It didn't even like touch him. And I mean, I like Superman just showing up and wrecking shit. Like, there's a part of me that I'm just like, all right. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm not connecting with it from a character. Like, I'm not thinking like, oh man, that's Clark Kent. That's my boy. He's like saving the day. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. This guy's showing up and just whooping ass. I like that.
There's a scene in Justice League Unlimited that's really funny where Clark talking about, like, he's talking to Darkseid, funnily enough. And he's talking about, like, I live in a world of cardboard, but I finally have something I can truly hit. And the scenes are really funny because it's like a really great speech, and then immediately after that, he jobs really hard. Let me get it. Let's see if I can find it fast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like if there's anything else I really want to say, because I know this whole fucking, this is supposed to be a discussion about the Snyder Cut, but it kind of just became about the DCEU as a whole.
The problem is, like, also, like, this isn't even like this kind of mentality of what the DCEU is, that Zack Snyder has even kind of put forward, has affected how the comics have also kind of viewed these heroes. That's why there's a lot of like really bad Superman stories and really bad Batman stories also.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just what, I mean, it's kind of, you're right, it is like, there's hundreds of comic book writers and they all see these characters differently, so you get very different interpretations of all the characters.
That's why Spider-Man went for like 10 years of bad comics due to the one more day.
Yeah. I want to bring it back around to the Snyder Cut though, just see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Just because I'm trying to come to terms with how much more I like this movie than the original, and my answer is I like it more, but like I think it has just different problems. Like I think it drags a lot. I think it has some like Snyder-esque directing that I kind of get sick of because it's a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
I think Flash might be more annoying just because he's like, it's a 4-hour movie and he's in it more. I think Aquaman just gets less, like, I don't really remember. He's probably about the same as in the original. Yeah, I don't know. man, I'm definitely gonna go and see what other people say about this because I've been kind of avoiding it. Like, I did look and kind of see basic opinions where people are like, yeah, this is a lot better, and I'm like, it's better, but I wouldn't say it's a lot better. Like, I don't know. I think I'm underwhelmed by what I saw. I think I was expecting more. I don't know about you guys.
I had no real expectations. I can't really. I was like, this is gonna be a Justice League movie, and from what I've seen of the other DC movies, I'm not really that impressed. So I'm not really going into this thinking it's gonna be like God's gift to Earth or anything. So my expectations weren't too high.
I expected more actual action scenes.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah,
I could say that too. During that middle part, I was like,
it dragged. Yeah, I mean, it's and that's the thing I was talking about. It needs to be a medium where the studio needs to step in and say, you got to cut some stuff. And I mean, you guys might remember I was saying like when this movie was like big, like it's coming, and people were getting really excited. I'm like, guys, I mean, like. I don't know why people think this is gonna be good because now Zack Snyder has total creative control. And I was saying that I don't think it's going to be that good. Yeah, you remember me saying that. But I heard
because I was like, oh, but Riley, it's 4 hours. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, but like I remember like after it came out and I heard people were saying it was good, I kind of started getting like hopeful. Like, hey, maybe this is. And it was also after rewatching the original. I'm like, it's going to have more heart. Like, there's going to be more, attention. And I could feel that in Cyborg, but, like, not really with everyone else. That's kind of the thing. Like, the big thing about this movie is Cyborg has done a lot better. I actually cared about him. I thought the story was good. It was well handled. But everything else just, it wasn't, there wasn't a great improvement that I saw. Some of the action scenes were a bit better. There's the cool stuff that the Flash did. But that's about it.
I only really like the time thing with Flash. That was like the best part. Oh, and then him running around, but I just like the way it looked. Like you could see like flashes of him. I thought that was cool.
That's bullshit that shot.
But he fucking tripped, and then he gets shot. Like, okay, bro.
They really. I mean, Flash is like potentially like one of the most powerful characters in the entire series.
I would argue he is the most powerful. Like,
it's the thing also like. In the first scene of his movie, they did the thing of, he sees things like it slow down time. So I don't understand how he fucking got shot.
Yeah, it's just really inconsistent, his power base. In this movie specifically.
Yeah.
Is that it? Does anybody else want to say anything in particular? Closing thoughts?
Things that I like. We'll fight at the beginning. The time mechanics shit is cool. I brought this up, but I do like when Cyborg goes into different worlds and he's explaining shit and it put him physically there. I thought all that stuff was really cool.
I like how it was like his original human body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I like Darkseid in the end.
Yeah.
Not beginning Darkseid. I don't know who the fuck that was. Let's see. I like the stuff with Cyborg. That was fine. Like the actual story stuff.
We get no booyah. So that's like a minus 10 points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in the original, it was kind of underwhelming. Honestly, it felt like it was just kind of phoned in. Honestly, but
I'm upset because they literally had the perfect time, which was.
Mm-hmm. They gave him hell yeah instead of booyah.
It's just weird because like I think my perception on like so fucked because of the whole Teen Titans shit. So I'm thinking like he would be like he's serious, but I want some goofy moments. I didn't get any of that. It's just very, very serious Cyborg, and I'm just like, I don't really
young
vibe with this.
Was weird because one, in his first scene, he's next to a character that's going booyah and acting like the old Cyborg, and he's voiced by the old Cyborg. But that's not the one we're following. We're following the guy next to him.
And then not only that, they bring the voice actor of Cyborg back, but he's Black Lightning.
And he voices
but
his
you
dad.
have to hear them. You have to hear them like interact with each other, but you're like, this is weird because I'm used to that guy being
like there's literally three people that are voiced by Cyborg surrounding the Cyborg and Young Justice.
Who isn't voiced by Cyborg?
Who isn't voiced by Cyborg?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's something I can understand. Yeah. Yeah. Max, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I think I've gone over everything.
Right.
I was just wondering if you guys want to check out this.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
How long is it?
I think that's everything.
I really should go to bed.